Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's Mr.BuyTheDip back here with another video. Today we'll be talking about AMD. I'm super excited to talk to you guys about this video. I bought on Friday at the opening. I seen this big dip and I got more and more excited, but I've been hearing a lot of stuff about market crash and stuff like that. But first things first, I want to just put away all the stocks to the side for a second. I want to make sure you guys are doing all right. I've heard about the LA fire, a lot of snow, a lot of crashes. So make sure you guys are staying safe during this weather, during this tough time. A lot of people have lost their houses, they've lost their homes. And, you know, I just want to send out prayers to whoever has lost a family member or who's going through a tough situation right now, okay? So always make sure you're giving back to the communities, giving back to people that need help, because you never know what can happen, all right? Thank you guys for always just tuning in and replying back to my videos, giving me good feedback. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so AMD. Now, I want you guys to realize this stock is a technology semiconductor stock, okay, up there with NVIDIA, right? A lot of people say they're competitors. A lot of people say NVIDIA is better, which makes sense, right? But I want to, first things first, I want to go ahead into my notes on here. And why is AMD a buy? The title of this video is probably attracting you to this video because this stock is on CashApp, first of all, and it's a buy. And I have a full-blown presentation right here, and I'm going to get in depth why it's a buy, okay? What is their PE ratio, okay? Price to earnings ratio is one of the best ways to determine if a stock is overvalued or undervalued. Now, this is not always accurate. This is not always something that you should use, right? Because sometimes it could be thrown off. It's not always 100% correct, okay? But it gives you a rough estimate, right? And you can always tweak the numbers around a little bit. So AMD has a price to earnings ratio of 103.05. That is significantly high compared to NVIDIA, okay, which is overvalued. I mean, if you look at it right here, it says 103.13. So the value of the stock is overvalued. So it's not worth, you know, it's not worth as much as people are buying it. Basically what that means, right? Now, if we compare that to NVIDIA has a PE ratio of 52.77. So you can say it's fair valued. It's exactly what it's, you know, what it's worth for. The share price is kind of true. The gains you see in the stock, it is worth the hype, right? AMD is basically overrated, not worth the hype. That's basically how I look at it. For all my athletes, all my basketball players, hoopers, you can say somebody's overrated. Oh, that's an overrated player. He's not even that good. Same with the stock. This is an overrated stock. Now, this means AMD is overvalued compared to its earnings, which isn't crazy to say. You know, the only reason I'm saying it isn't crazy to say because their operating margin. Look at the operating margin and compare it to NVIDIA. The operating margin for AMD is 5.88. I want you to realize how low that is, okay? Compare that 5.88 to a different stock like NVIDIA, you get something like 62.71. Compare it to, let's do reality income, right? Compared to a different stock, right? What do you get? Operating margin, 44.43. These stocks that you probably haven't even heard of have a higher operating margin, okay? Let's just compare it to everything in my portfolio, okay? Let's do Walmart. Okay, let's look at Walmart's operating margin, one of the stocks that I really love, 4.27. Now, realize how Walmart is in a whole different industry sector. Walmart is not semiconductors, it's retailers. So what you should be doing is, instead of comparing it to everything, compare it to its competitors. That's the best way to single out each stock. AMD and NVIDIA, both tech stocks, okay? So another comparison could be, let's do Microsoft, let's do Taiwan Semiconductor, let's do NVIDIA, right? If you compare NVIDIA and AMD, that's a better comparison than doing AMD and Starbucks or AMD and something like Nike, right? So when you compare those two, you realize that NVIDIA is pulling a lot of profit in. What does operating margin mean? Well, it means how much profit a company generates from its core business operations after accounting operating expenses. So look at it like this. When you have a house, you got to pay off the bills first. You know, you got to pay off your car note, blah, blah, blah. Those are all expenses to have a good, healthy lifestyle, right? You got to be able to have a home, a car, blah, blah, blah. Expenses, same with a business. A business has expenses. They got to pay for utilities. They got to pay for, they got to pay their employees back. They got to pay for, let's say, a big TV is broken now, and that TV supplies security cameras around the building. They have to replace that TV now. Okay, let's say some security cameras are not working. They have to fix that, and all that costs money. That is expenses. So how much money a company pulls in after those expenses is called operating margin. Okay, so this is one of the biggest reasons why AMD isn't as competitive as Nvidia, because Nvidia is able to have more cash to work with. Okay, having cash means the company is generating money, and money sitting in its account, and their employees are getting paid, the CEO is getting paid, everybody is making money, right, while they have so much money left over. Okay, so let's ignore this concept real quick. That this does not mean that AMD can't grow in this coming 12 to 6 months and 16 to 20 months, right? So what we need to do is just look at AMD's buying point right now. It's down a week, it's down a month, and yearly it's down as well. What does this mean? Does this mean the stock is over? Never. We see stocks always recover back. We always see stocks go up around certain time frames, around when certain people say buy a stock. I mean, that's pure manipulation, right? But if we let this company to grow, I think it can do so many great things, because the high is right here, March 7th. Okay, March 7, 2024, 211.38. And right here, I also have it on CashApp. Okay, I took a screenshot and I told you guys it's an all-time high with the closing price of 211.38. So if the company is so-called overvalued and it closed in at 211, imagine how much buying power we can stack up at 115, 120. And I feel like this stock is going to go lower to 105, 106, which is clearly possible. Okay, look at Nvidia. Nvidia was around these levels too. Okay, was Nvidia undervalued? Heck no. Okay, and let me show you guys what I mean by Nvidia was around this time, because I remember this like it happened yesterday. Around August, okay, Nvidia was 104. Around September, Nvidia was 107. So if I would have told you guys, oh, don't buy Nvidia is overvalued, you don't need to buy the stock, blah, 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 what was going to happen? You was going to miss this run up all the way from 107, 102, all the way to 145. Imagine if AMD gets a run up from 102, 105, 107, all the way up to 144 at least. You're making some good money. Okay, now the initial goal is always higher than just 144, 120, right? So a fair value for the stock, in my opinion, is 160 to 170. Okay, Nvidia 180, 185 is fair value. Higher than that, consider taking profits for sure. Okay, so number one thing you all should do as good investors is be able to calculate your gains before hopping into a stock. So have a target price and have a reasons why you think a certain stock is gonna go up. I think AMD is gonna go up because it's a semiconductor, similar to Nvidia. They have potential to grow with their GPUs, their gaming processors, their memory cards, and AI as well. So tie everything together. If you tie all these things together, you get a fair valued stock. So calculate your gain. My average cost right now in AMD is currently 123.54. Okay, this is basically your position in the stock. It's very important to know your position. So 123.54. If my goal is $160, so that is a 29.51% gain, which is it's an incredible gain if you have $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 invested. But for me, 149 is what I'm working with. And as you guys notice, I started my investment journey with $15. I'm not kidding you guys, $15 on Nvidia. So I'm super blessed to be able to grow this portfolio, to be able to grow Nvidia, to be able to get more experience, because the more you grow, the more you realize how much ever more money you get, the more or less it's going to be. Okay, more money, more problems. So number one thing, when I flipped 15 to like 50, I didn't flip 15, but I slowly grew it, and I invested like 54 point something dollars, and I got like a $16 gain. I sold at $70. Okay, so kind of the same plan. I mean, I held the stock from December all the way till May. Okay, so a few months is what it's going to take. Nvidia's going to take a few months. Okay, give it to July, give it till June, give the stock some time. Okay, but realize that your average cost per share really matters if you want to make some money. Okay, if you're not making money in 4 months, you probably gonna make money in the next 4 months. So if you don't see it in 8 months, give it a longer time frame. Change your mindset. Okay, if you start looking at stocks just to buy and sell to get quick profit, okay, I mean, you can do that with certain stocks, but if you want to really be a successful investor long-term wise, you got to be able to find indicators. You got to be able to get on your charts on TradingView. Okay, number one thing is TradingView is so beneficial because you can use candlesticks. I told you guys, use TradingView, use candlesticks, and you're gonna see a whole new level in your in your investment journey. You're gonna unlock new skills, and you're gonna just unleash so many different attributes in your investing career. So thank you guys so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. Make sure you're staying safe out there. It's getting cold. All right, so thank you guys for watching. AMD's a buy. I just give you more than 2 to 3 reasons why, so don't overcomplex it. Stay on Cash App. If you're a beginner, buy the stock. Let's watch the run up to 160 sooner or later. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe.